everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. First, I'd like to say Happy New Year. It is my first video of 2021 and I'm going to be wishing you all many blessings and happiness throughout the year. And I'm also going to show you how I created this cute little Valentine's Day gnome. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the supplies that I think I'm going to be using for my project. I've got here a couple of pairs of socks. It doesn't matter what you get. I've grabbed these from the Dollar Tree and these are from the Dollar General. They were each $1 a pair. Now you can use any patterns that you want to use, or if you want to use some solids. Maybe you already have some socks existing in your home. Just make sure they're nice and clean before you use them. Now I'm going to need something inside of my gnome to weigh her down so that she doesn't fall over. So I've got these little pebbles. I also grabbed these from the Dollar Tree. They do have the clear marbles. You can use that, or if you want to use some rice or some beans for the inside, you can use that as well. I'm also going to be using some polyfill to fill up my gnome's body. You can use some cotton balls or some tissue paper, paper napkins, whatever you like. Now for some hair on my gnome, I can use some yarn, and I've got here two different types of yarns that I could use. I don't know which one I want to use yet, so I just thought I'd show you both, or if you want to use some fur, you can do that. And from the Dollar Tree, I went ahead and I grabbed these styrofoam balls. I'm only going to need one of them. These are 1.9 inch in diameter, or 48 millimeter diameter. And then I also grabbed these foot liners. You can use a pantyhose, something like that. We're going to use that to wrap around our little nose to give it that skin tone, or if you want to use some craft paint and just paint it instead of having to use this. Alright, so here I've got a number of decorative items that I could use on my gnome. From the Dollar Tree, I found these cute little stick-on, they're like wooden little hearts. They're really cute. You can use some of those. I went over by the craft area and they had these little chalkboard pins, little clothespins. I also found these little wooden chalkboard hearts. I wanted a pom-pom at the top of her hat, and I found these little magnet pom-poms, so maybe I'll use that one. If not, I do have a package of pom-poms. Now all these items I did grab from the Dollar Tree. I also went ahead and I grabbed this neck scarf. I don't know why, but I thought it was a really pretty fabric, and maybe I'll use that in my gnome. I also found this cute little hearts that are all hanging from each other, and I think I might want to use one of these for the base where she will be standing on. You don't have to use this. You can use a little round piece of wood if you want to use that. And from the Dollar General, I found these little felt roses. They were only $1. I thought this was really pretty, so I may use those. Also from the Dollar Tree, I found this 50-piece of little acrylic hearts. You can't see them very well through the packaging here, but I will open it up and then we'll see them, and we can use that. Now I do have some other items in a box that I've stored away, so I may go and dig into that, but for now this is what I have to decorate my gnome. Now to put together my Valentine gnome, I do have my hot glue gun, so I need some hot glue sticks with that. I've got some scissors, some jute string, or you can use some chenille string or a floral wire to wire and wrap up some things. I also have these little rubber elastic bands. These are for little ponytails, but we can also use these to wrap some things up. So let's get to crafting. Alright, so I've decided to use one from each of the pairs of socks, and I've decided that I want to use this shorter sock for the hat. I think it would be really cute. It's got this little kind of roughly edge to it, so I think that would be really pretty, and then the design is really nice. And I like this for the body. I do like this wording here, the love here. It's a little high up here, so I may not be able to use it as is, but I can go ahead and use this bottom part for the body. So I'm just going to cut right about right here because I don't know how much taller I need it to be. And I'm also going to be kind of taking it in this direction so that the heel is in the back. Okay, so I'm going to use it like that. Just like I'm going to use the little hat, I turned it so that I could have the heel towards the back. Okay, so let me take this body part and we're going to fill it with these little rocks at the bottom. First, that will weigh it down, and you can just add as many as you want. And like I said, you could use beans or rice or something else, maybe some lentils. There we go. All right, so I got a couple of handfuls there, pretty full handfuls. Okay, and now I'm going to use the polyfill that I have here. Like I said, you can use some cotton balls, some soft tissue, some soft paper napkins to fill it in. And you can maybe recycle an old pillow or something that you might have that has some clean polyfill in there, or some cotton filling or wool. Okay, there. That'll be nice. And that makes it stand perfectly fine. So now we can use our jute, or you can use some chenille stem or floral wire to tie this up, or we can use these clear little rubber bands. They don't have to be clear, they could be the black ones, and just wrap it around. If you don't feel like that's sufficient, you could add some glue in here with your hot glue gun and help that all stick together. But this is the shape that we want right here. She's pretty. Okay, let's put these items out of the way, and I'm going to take this part here and just cut a little bit underneath that. This is only if you happen to have a long sock that has a pattern that you maybe want to use. So I'm going to use this part on her like so, because I really like that. And then I can just fold the edge under, just like that. And then you can hot glue that little edge if you want the little hem. Just make it look pretty. But I do want these stripes underneath at the bottom to pop out. So I think I'm gonna just crinkle this down a little bit more, because this is going to be the head part pretty much. There we go, just like that. Again, you don't need to have this part here, okay? We can always decorate this sock, or if you're using a solid one, we can always decorate it with some cute little gems and such. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue so all this doesn't move around on me. Okay, just like that. I didn't put glue all around the edge here. I feel like that's good enough. It'll hold it, but if you feel like you want to do that, go right ahead. So this is what we have so far. Okay, so with this little piece that I had left over, I am going to go ahead and cut right here. And then I'm going to cut it in half. And we could use this for some little arms. And you can just curl them around and hot glue them as you do that. Just fold it into each other and just create like a little tube. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. It's going to take me a while because, as you can see, it curls the opposite way. Okay, so now once I've done one side, I'll grab the other end here and bring that over like that, and then I'll just finish it off by continue gluing, and then I'll do the other piece so that I'll have two little arm pieces. Okay, so for her nose, I'm going to be using the styrofoam ball. It's really big, but I think it looks awesome for the nose on our gnome. And I'm going to use this little foot liner, little hose bit, and to cover that up. And I'm not going to worry too much that it doesn't like cover like really well back here, because that's all going to get hidden away. I'm going to use another one of these little rubber band things to wrap this up. And just wrap it tight. Okay, I think that'll be okay. Alright, and then we're just going to trim off the excess here. And then we have a little skin colored nose that can go right on here on our gnome. But we're going to put her little hat on. So I'm going to slide that on about right so high. I want it to go down further in the back than I do in the front. And then her little nose is going to be right underneath there, just like that. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and put in a little filling inside of the little hat because I don't want it to be too floppy. You know, I don't want it to be going down too much. I want it to have a little bit of body up here. So let's put some padding in there. You can use some tissue, like I said, whatever you want to use, a piece of napkin, a little paper towel. Okay, just a little bit, just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna line it up where I wanted. There we go, like that. And then the nose right in there. Now, I'm looking at this and I think maybe I filled it up a little too much because the hat stands up a little too much. I do want it to flop over a little bit, although I could, once I add a little pom-pom up here, I could just, you know, glue it down like that so it stays in place. But I do think it's a little bit too much. I'm going to remove some of this, okay? Bring it down so that this would be full here rather than over here. Okay, let's try this again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the back part over here where the heel is. Glue that down. Come around. Place my nose where I wanted. And I'm just pushing that padding downward. So it'll do that. See what the hat does now? It wasn't quite doing that because it was a little too full. Okay, so now that I have my nose where I wanted, and I probably don't want it too covered. Okay, I'm going to add some glue right underneath it. Plenty of it so it doesn't move. And then you know what I think I'm going to do? I am going to add some more of this fiber fill right up above where the nose is. Just because I don't want this to like go down inward like that. Okay? I want it to have a little bit of a shape right here. Okay, so now I can go ahead and glue it to the nose, but I'm not going to glue the sides here of the sock. This trim of the sock, I'm not going to glue it down yet. I just going to hold it like that. We're going to let this dry really well before we do anything else to her. Okay, we'll let her dry. Alright, so now I'm going to take my yarn, and like I said, it doesn't matter what yarn you decide to use. I decided to go ahead and use my thicker yarn because then I would have to cut less strands, and if I was using the thinner yarn, I just cut more. So for each side of her head, I want some hair to come out. Now, if this was going to be a male, then I would want a little beard coming down the middle here. So then maybe I want to use lots of these strands to go here, here, and here. But because I want it to be a girl, I want some little ponytails to come off out of the side. So I decided that I would use 3 strands of this particular yarn. If I was using the other one, I'd probably use about 9 for each. And I'm cutting them about 12 inches. This may get trimmed a little bit. It's better to cut them a little longer than what you think. So I'm going to cut another 3 for the other side. Okay, so then I'm going to take them and fold them in half like so. And you could, again, use a little chenille stem or a little wire, a little piece of the twine. But I'm going to go ahead and just use these little rubber bands and grab it like that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to untwirl the yarn, each of these, because they each have these smaller bits to them. So I want it to look like way more strands of hair. And actually each one of these is actually 2 strands after that. So it's up to you how much you want to unravel. You could take a brush and you could brush it out and actually make it look like actual hair, but I think this is good. I'm not going to do any more than this. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've unraveled all the strands, and this is what I have. So I'm going to repeat the process with this one as well. And look how pretty that's going to look. Okay, so now I've got my 2 ponytail strands here. And by the way, I did get this yarn at Hobby Lobby. It's really pretty and really nice and soft and thick. They did have some yarn at the Dollar Tree, which you can use that as well. It's the thinner type of yarn. I just didn't find a color that I wanted. They only had a kind of a strange-ish looking blue and a green and a purple. And the purple was a little too dull. Otherwise, I would have put purple hair on her, but I would have preferred either something like this, like white, off-white, maybe brown even, or pink would have been great. But they didn't have the color that I needed, and I did have this already at home. So if you have some yarn at home, black or whatever color you might already have that will look great as hair, use that. Okay, so now that I've got her little ponytails, and you could braid these, divide them into 3 pieces and braid them if you want. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that right underneath here and then glue those right in there. And this is why I didn't glue these parts down yet from the trim on the sock, because I wanted to add the hair. Or if you want to do a boy, you know, do 3 of these and put, or just maybe just 2, and put it right underneath the nose before you glue the nose down, and that'll be the gnome's beard. I think one of them even might be enough for a beard. It's up to you how much of a beard you want it to have. So anyway, this is going to be a girl, so she's going to have her little ponytails on each side. And I'm just going to drizzle some glue in there. Drop that part in there. A little bit of glue on the trim here, just to push that down. Push it in like that. Okay, now the other side. Okay, so there I've got the hair on each side. Now, like I said, you could braid these if you wanted to, or you could just leave them like that, nice and full long hair if you wanted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make them into little ponytails. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just take this, and I'm going to get another 2 little, these little rubbers, and tie around here. Leave some of the ends, you know, kind of loose like that. You want them like hanging like that. Okay, we'll do the other one about the same. Okay, so there we go. I've gone ahead and I've put little rubber bands right here, and then we can just trim these so they can sort of be the same length. I'm just grabbing some of the little fuzzies that keep coming off. Okay, so now I'm going to take what I was going to use for the arms, and I was going to put these on the side, but they seem to be a little too thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it and double it up and then glue them together like that. Glue these pieces together, make them a little bit thicker so that it's a thicker arm like that. Okay, so now that I've got that one glued, I'm getting glue all over my fingers. I'll do the other one. Okay, so before I do the other one, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these pom-poms, and I have this package with all these different colors. I'm going to grab the red one. You can use whatever color you want. And I'm going to put one of these at the end, or at the, you know, the fold of each one. These raw edges are going to go underneath the trim of the hat over here, so that's not going to show. I'm going to glue these down so that's like her little hands. If you want to do like with some felt and create some little mittens, do that. But that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now that I've got these little arms made, you can do these a little fuller if you want, if you don't like the look of what I've done. Now I do have this fabric from the scarf that I could have made some thicker ones, or I could have even used this other extra fabric here to use it for the arms, to make them a little bit wider, maybe make a little tube and then stuff it with some of that polyfill. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue right on here, on the edge here of the raw edge, and stick it right in there. And then I'll put some glue on the little trim of the sock. I'll push that onto that, and I'll do the same to the other side. Okay, so now I have this little banner with all these little hearts, and I decided to just peel off one of these. It's just on some tape here, that's all it is, so it's easy to peel right off. Okay, let's put this aside. We won't need the rest, we just need one of them. And I'm going to go ahead and glue her right onto that, And as a matter of fact, that even looks like little feet right there. So that's great. I do have these smaller chalkboard hearts. So if you wanted to give her some black feet, that would look really cute. Look at that. You know, I'm kind of liking that a little bit more than I am liking this. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to use that. I can always put this back on the little banner or use it for something else. So let's use that. Okay, so I'm just shaping her so that I know that she's going to be standing up straight. Her little hands are kind of short, but I think they're cute. Okay, so now I'm going to glue her down to this heart here. So put plenty of glue on there. Except for the little, you know, the top edges here that are going to be exposed. Don't put any glue there. Okay, there we go. And just like that. Making sure that the sock does get glued down. That is super cute. Look at that. She's got little black feet on her. That is so cute. Okay. Alright, so at the very top, I'm going to take another little rubber band and I'm going to tie this up. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit closer to the toe mark right here. And just another little rubber band. And wrap it up right there. Now, let me show you something real quick. You don't have a pom-pom for the top, a big pom-pom, where you can make one out of yarn if you want. You could always take the toe part and just cut into it like that. Just cut it into, make little strips out of it. Okay, and then just kind of pull on them because then the fabric tends to kind of curl. Wait, right here it didn't get cut right. Okay, so then just pull on the fabric and that'll make it curl a little bit. And that gives it a cute like little pom-pom up at the top. And then we can fold it downward. Let's push this batting down a little bit. And then just to keep it down, we can hot glue it right there. Okay. Alright, but I had also purchased these little pom-poms. They were in a package. There's supposed to be magnets in here, and I can feel it right there. It doesn't make a difference. We don't have to worry about the fact that it has a magnet in there. We could trim all this off and then just hot glue that onto there because it does have a little piece of felt right here that we could put on there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to trim most of this off, as much of it as I can. Not too much because we don't want that little rubber band to come loose. Okay? So now we can put lots of glue here. If you want to open this up and pull out that little magnet, you can do that. And I'm just going to glue it onto there. And like I said, I'm going to glue this down to the side here. So I'll go ahead and do that now. And then I'll just hold it there until it's completely dry. Alright, so in the meantime, I want to make like a little scarf for her. She doesn't really have to have that. I could save this for something else. But I kind of like the idea of using it. So I'm going to cut it right here where the seam is. It has a little bit of a, you know, a little area here where it was sewn together. Because it's one of those infinite scarves. So I just cut that off. And I want this little scarf to go around her neck. So like about, it's always best to cut it a little bit longer than you think. So I got a little piece here. I want this to go around her neck part, but I also want it to go under her little hair here. So I'm going to bring it underneath. Bring this piece forward and then this one back. Just like that. And just fix it so it looks nice. This is a little looking a little raw here. So I'm going to fix this a little bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I cut it nicely so it's not all jagged. Okay, now that I've cut the edges, I'm just going to roll it up into itself like that. I want to put this one forward. Everything underneath her little hair. And like that. Okay, and then you can just glue these down so that they're not in the way. And that's completely up to you if you want to do that. I kind of like it, but I'm going to go ahead and tie it like that. And then I'm just going to glue this bit down so it stays back here. And then this one I'm going to glue it down in the front. I don't want to cover too much of where it says love in the front of her blouse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of fold it into itself and put little bits of glue just to kind of tack it. And then trim off any loosey bits. If you don't like that, just don't put that on there. Use a different fabric for the scarf if you want to do a scarf. Okay, so now I'm going to trim her hair a little bit here. There we go. And we could use a really pretty ribbon to tie some little bows around the ponytails here or anywhere else on the hat. I'm going to go ahead and use this jute or twine, whatever you want to call it. And I'll just cut some pieces about the same. I'll probably end up trimming them anyway. But it's always best to cut longer than what you think you need. And I'm going to use that around her hair. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wrap it up a couple of times like that. And then tie it and then make it into a little bow at the front. So far, that's what I have. And then just form a little bow. And then I'm just going to trim the little rope ends. There we go. Just do that and I'll do the same to the other one. Alright, so now I just want to finish her off and just completely decorate her. The only thing that I'm seeing here is that I would like to have put the edge of the sock a little bit lower on the nose because it's looking like this is her little face rather than her nose. So you want to keep that in mind. Just cover it a bit more than what I did, okay? So I have all the choices of these little decorations that I purchased. I decided that I'm not going to use a little chalkboard. Now, if I had a white paint pen or something, I would write something on there and then maybe just clip it onto her as a little message. Let's go ahead and take one out so we can see how that would look. Okay, so here's a little clip-on little chalkboard. I went ahead and I also glued down this little arm on her hair here, just so it looks like she's hugging her hair and she's holding it down. I might do the same thing on the other side with the other pom-pom. She's holding the other little ponytail. I don't know yet. We'll just see. But this little clip-on can be stuck on anywhere with a little message on there if you wanted. Maybe up on top of her head. That would be really cute. Like I said, I think I'm not going to use that. What I do like are these pretty roses, and I do like this little gem heart. So I'll go ahead and open that up so we can see what they look like. And this is just what they look like. Okay, so in the front of her top it says love, but she's got a little heart right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right on there. Put a little glue right there. Kind of find the flatter side. They're both kind of the same. And put one right there. And I think I'm going to put one a little bit higher so it looks like little buttons on her. Okay. There we go, just like that. Alright, so now I think I'm going to glue down the bit of the hair right here to kind of hide this little part right here of the scarf because it looking kind of, you know, not very nice. Okay, let's glue that down and then we'll glue down her little hand over it as well. And she's just hugging her little ponytails. Something like that. Okay, now I'm going to take one of these little hearts. I thought they were really pretty. They are stick-on, and I like the pink with the glitter, but I also like the red. But I think I'm going to go more for this pink one here. And I'm going to glue it right about right here where her hand is. Like she's kind of holding it there. So I'll put a little bit of glue on the tip. It does have like a little bit of a stick-em thing here where you can stick it down, but I'm not using that. I'm just going to use the hot glue here and just glue that right there. Let me do a better job. There we go. Tuck it in. And now she's holding a little heart in her hand. I actually want to cover the other side, so I'm going to use another little heart, put some glue on it, and just tuck it in there. See what I did? Just like that. Double it up a little bit. Put the glitters on both sides. And I also want to use one of these roses. And I think I'm going to use a red one just to bring some more red to her. And there's an area here where her little hat is, this little end here where I can see that little edge. So I want to cover that up. Put some glue there. And I'll put the little rose right in there. Now the little roses also have, they're also stickers. So they also have a little sticky bit back here. But I'm using the hot glue gun because I don't want it to come off. Alright, so there we go. Alright everyone, I have completed my little Valentine's Day gnome. I think she's super cute. Look at that. So this is just an inspiration to give you an idea of what you can create, and you can make it however you want for whatever season you want to make it. Again, it doesn't have to be a girl, it could be a boy. I did try moving the sock trimmed here. I did try moving it down a little bit lower because I felt it was a little too high. But there's what it looks like, so that should give you another idea. Now, if you don't want it to be a gnome, this could just be a regular, you know, like a little girl, and then just put some little eyeballs on her and a little mouth if you wanted. Paint some little pink cheeks on her, and she could be another idea if you don't like the gnomes. I wasn't too sure about the gnomes myself. I kind of wanted to do one for Christmas. I had it on my list of things to do, but I wasn't really sure if I really liked them. But somehow, researching things, I kind of decided that, you know what, I do like the little gnomes, so I'm going to go ahead and make it for Valentine's. And I saw plenty of ideas on Pinterest, so if you want to look through there, you'll find lots of cute little ideas of how you can decorate your little gnome. But this is mine, and I hope that you liked it. So I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a nice comment down below. And let me know what you think of my little Valentine's Day gnome. Are you going to be creating it? Have you done something already like this? Maybe you have some with a different idea. You could also join my Facebook page at Trisha's Creations. So the link is down below in the description box. So just go on over there and like the page, and you can comment on there. Leave pictures of your creations if you wanted it, or you can share some recipes. All right, everyone. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit that red subscribe button, and then the notification bell. That's really important so that you get notified of when I upload my videos. So please do that. Please leave a thumbs up, and please leave some sort of comment. A kind one would be best. Let's all be nice to each other, respect each other, share on your social medias, spread the love, and as always, enjoy.